It's 10 p.m. on Sunday night, and I'm sitting in the dark staring at a to-do list that has exactly one thing crossed off of it. And I'm wondering if I'm actually building a legacy or if I'm just the world's most exhausted Uber driver. If you've ever reached the end of your weekend feeling like you've lived an entire week in 48 hours, but you have absolutely nothing to show for yourself but a car full of grass stains and empty Gatorade bottles, mama, this one's for you. Hey, friends, welcome back to Struggle and Strength Mom's Balancing It All with Nikki. This weekend, I'm not gonna lie, it was a lot. My husband headed out of town on Friday with our daughter for her dive meet, which left me solo with the boys. Not a problem. But if you know my life, you know what that means. Total, unmitigated sports chaos. We're talking futsal, tennis practice, soccer, tennis matches, soccer games, futsal games. It was like a relay race where I was the only one running every leg. I had these grand visions of being super productive, Nikki, while the house was half empty. But instead, I found myself racing against a clock that just wouldn't slow down. And on top of that, the boys wanted me to play Nintendo with them. So, of course, we stayed up till like midnight. Actually, it was 1 o'clock, I'm not gonna lie, playing Nintendo instead of working. But this chaos, it started on Friday. I had to race to go pick up the kids, and the boys wanted to stay. They had an early release because their school was having their school play, and the boys wanted to stay for the school play. I was actually supposed to stay for yearbook club, although my daughter needed to get out of town for her dive meet so that she could get there in time for practice. And so I raced over to their school and waited for them to come out. They were playing, of course, like, their teacher went and got them, and they're like, "Oh, no, we're waiting for our daddy." I was like, "No, no, no, you're waiting for me, let's go." And so it took them 30 minutes to get their stuff together. Well, then my daughter, I took her, drove her home, and then my husband and her left so that they could get on their merry way, and then I raced back to the school. Stayed there with the boys, watched the school play, which was actually really good. It was Julius Caesar, and those kids, my goodness, they had to memorize a lot of lines, and I'm talking about those lines were lines that I don't even understand, so I can't even understand how they were able to memorize lines that they probably had no idea what they meant, but it was fantastic. And so, we're split in 2 different directions. I drive the boys home, then we gotta go to futsal practice, and then we race home after that, eat dinner, get ready for bed, and then Saturday morning, oh my goodness, I had to have my mom get involved because I had one kid that had a game at 10, another kid a game at 11. Of course, they're like 45 miles away from one another, and they were supposed to both go to tennis. Well, there's no way they could both go to tennis and then their games, so I had to drive one to tennis, have my mom come over, stay with the other one. And then the chaos began. It was like, "Oh my gosh." I felt like I just filled up on gas and then I had to fill up again. Oh, and don't let me even tell you about the gas incident. That was a nightmare. Oh my goodness. So I picked up my daughter's prescription, and of course, it's like the beginning of the year, so our deductible hit in, and they're like, "Do you know that the copay?" It's like, "Yes, it's our deductible. We have a $150 deductible." Anyways, picked up the medication, and then she's like, "Oh, well, you earned 10 cents off your gas." And I thought, "Well, I'm at half a tank, and I still have a whole another day and a half of activities to do. I might as well get gas." So I went over to the gas station, which I normally don't do at the grocery store. I usually go to Sam's Club and fill up there. But I figured, okay, I get to save 10 cents. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be a saver, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do it. And I get over there, I pull up to the pump, I put in my credit card, I do all the things, and then all of a sudden, like, it clamps my credit card and it says, "Out of service," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, you have got to be kidding me," because let me just tell you, I only have, like, 30 minutes until I have to leave for the next event and drive 45 minutes to get to my other kid's soccer game, which was basically in the same spot that his 10 o'clock game was. Now it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but of course I had to go get my other. It's like back and forth, back and forth. I don't even know how many miles I drove that day. It's well over 200 just by myself alone. And so I was like, "Oh my gosh, what do I do?" I've got the 2 boys in the back, and they're hungry, and I'm hungry, and we're waiting on this thing that has my credit card stashed in it. So I tell one of the boys, I was like, "Go inside and get the attendant." Of course, I'm pushing the call attendant button, and, those things don't work anymore, like, nothing works except for electronics. And so then it starts telling me to go pay inside, and I was like, "No, I don't need to pay inside, it has my credit card." And so then I was like, "Oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Like, I'm gonna be stuck here with this credit card in this machine that I can't get out, and I've gotta be at a soccer event in literally an hour and a half." Oh my gosh. Of course, I'm, like, in frustrated, annoyed mode, and so I'm just complaining up the wazoo. And so the attendant comes out, and I tell him that my card is stuck, and he has this, like, deer in the headlights look on his face, and I thought, "Oh, great. That is not good." Hopefully, I'm not gonna be here all day because, as I mentioned, I have other things to do. So then he starts walking back inside because he's telling me he has to open up the machine. Oh, I promise you I wouldn't do these late at night anymore, but I'm so sorry I did, and I'm yawning. And so anyways, so as he's, like, walking inside, of course, like, I see the machine and the little, like, clamp light, the lock light, like, opens up, and I ran it and grabbed my credit card, and I was, "Wait, wait, it got it." And he's like, "Oh, so excited." So anyways, I pumped my gas, and then it still said on there to pay inside, but I'm assuming that it paid, and hopefully I'm not, like, wanted by the police for leaving because I'm pretty sure it took my credit card and it paid because it took the 10 cents off the gas, but I don't know. Maybe if I don't show up for an episode or 2, I might be in jail because I didn't pay my gas. I have no idea. I just assumed it paid. So after that, then of course, like, we're by Easter's coming up and we're by this church that we were gonna stop by on Sunday because I was pretty sure that their egg hunt was on Sunday. Turns out we had just missed their egg hunt. So not only with all these activities going on, but our kids don't even get to do Easter egg hunting this year because of all the activities that they're doing. Yes. It's like if we could just catch a break, that would be amazing. So we raced off to the next soccer game and on the way back, I thought, "You know what? Really, really, really wanna do something for myself," which I don't like, I can't even tell you the last time I actually bought clothes. Um, and so I took the boys to go shopping. And of course, they're, like, looking in these stores for I don't know what, but it was, like, electronic something, I guess, I don't know. And they didn't find what they wanted, so of course they were upset. And the whole time, I don't usually like to let them out of my sight. But I feel like if they go together, then it is a little bit less stressful, but then I kept thinking like, "Oh my gosh, what if someone takes them?" And then it just ruined the whole experience, and I didn't find anything at, like, the first 2 stores, and so they're like, "Mommy, can we go to the last one that we normally go to?" And I was like, "Okay, we'll go to one that's on the way home." Anyways, so we wasted like 2 hours going to these stores. Actually, at the last store that we stopped at, I found several awesome shirts. So I was super excited. I went home, I tried them all on, and my middle son told me, "Mommy, those look really great." And I was like, "Oh, score." So I didn't have time in the store to try them on, which I usually do because I don't like to like buy and then have to return. But it was amazing that they actually fit. Oh, so that was, like, my Saturday, and then I didn't get home till I think it was, like, 6 or 7 o'clock, and then we ate dinner, and then, of course, they wanted to play Nintendo, and I had such great intentions. I brought my, like, rolling table into the bedroom, and I brought my laptop and my other monitor so I could have 2 monitors set up. I had every great intention of doing my work. And then they asked me, "Mommy, can you play with us?" And I thought, "You know what? Like, this is mommy's son night because my daughter and my husband are at her dive meet." And I was like, "When am I gonna have the chance to actually play with them other than tonight?" Probably very rare. And so I was like, "Okay, we'll play." Oh my goodness. So that turned into, like, until midnight, actually, it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, "We need to go to bed." But it was so exciting because they have the Nintendo Switch, and it has all the old games that I grew up on, like, not Frogger, but that was on my Commodore 64, but they had, like, the old soccer game and the old, like, car racing game, and they're like, "Mommy, you're really good at that." I'm like, "Yeah, because I played it my whole life." And then, of course, like, the Mario Brothers, we love all of that. Mm. But, what happened is that life happened, like, the boys needed me to actually be there, and as much of as that I've mastered the art of answering emails during soccer practice, I realized that I was just treading water again. I was physically present, but mentally, I was a million miles away, stressing about my to-do list. I spent literally, like, the first hour they were playing Nintendo telling them, "Yeah, baby, I'll be right there." Like, they brought the Nintendo into my bedroom so that I couldn't get away from not playing with them. Because they wanted me to be present. And so that was fun. It was so much fun. And they have this game called Run Sausage Run, and it is so fun. It's like these little sausages, and there's all these knives and stuff that I mean, it sounds gruesome and bloody and gross, but it's super funny. Because like you're like on a beach and these not pigeons, what are they? Seagulls or whatever, like, go down and, like, eat you, and oh my gosh, it's so fun. So we played that forever, and then, of course, at the very end, they're like, "Can we watch a movie?" So we fell asleep like lights out Alice. I'm talking. We had to turn the TV timer on in order to fall asleep because, otherwise we would have all fallen asleep with the TV on. And then, of course, like, this morning, we're, like, dead on the bed. It was great because we didn't have to wake up early, although did have tennis this afternoon. And so I was able to get a little bit of stuff down, but, oh gosh, between the futsal, tennis, I thought, "Okay, I'll just open my laptop, I'll be efficient, I'll knock out my deliverables." And let's be real, like, I didn't get any of it done until today, and then now I'm stressing, and it's almost midnight, and I'm trying to finish my podcast that I should have done earlier. And it's just that, like, type A trap that we fall into. We tie our worth to our productivity, and when productivity fails, we feel like we're failing, and so today, like, this evening, I feel like a complete failure. And it's not like that I know that I did amazing things, and the boys had such a great time, and so did I. But the whole time I'm feeling guilty, like, I'm not working on my things. Because I really wanted to revamp my websites this weekend, and I did one. So I've got one done, although I just need to hook up a couple buttons, but that was great. And then I needed to do my other one where I can actually start getting clients because my clients are all taking breaks. And, that's where, like, the real stress is. I've been working so hard on growing my businesses and actually trying to be present in my own life that I haven't really, um I mean, I had clients, but they're all, like, in the same stage. They're all trying to build their things and don't necessarily need me at this time. I help them to the from where they were to get to where they are now, but then they have to, like, revamp things and get to a place where they need me again, and so it's like, you know, I realize, like, I'm being stretched so thin that last week or I think it was, like, 2 weeks ago, I had a virtual event and a workshop, like, of my own, and I barely even got it together for those things because I was so busy on my client deliverables, and I hate that feeling of putting things together last minute because I wanna give 110% to everything that I do, and I do to my clients, I just don't do it to myself, and I don't wanna just, like, get it done, I want it to be amazing, and so now I'm sitting in a calendar and most of my clients are taking breaks, and so that extra income that I was relying on is suddenly gone, and it's really scary, on top of the fact that I wasn't productive this weekend. And it's just, it's that moment where you wonder if the transformation in the middle is actually just a fancy way of saying that you're stuck. You start to question if you're enough, if you're smart enough, or if you're a glorified secretary at work and an intern in your own business. And then it's like, I devote all of my time to my kids and my clients. I don't make any time for myself. And then it's like it's like guilt upon guilt upon guilt. Everything is like on my shoulders and I'm stressing. No wonder, like, I don't even know if I told you this or not. But when right before the weekend before I was supposed to start my virtual event, I broke out in hives. And I don't know what it was. Like, it could have been the stress of everything and like racing to get everything done, on top of the fact that I tried like a couple different new things. One was a new body wash, the other one was like a new heat protector hair thing, when I blow dry my hair. And then I started back taking these gummies that I was taking, and then I stopped taking because I'm drinking these protein shakes and stuff with all this nutrients in it. But I broke out in hives for like a whole week and a half, and I was itching like crazy. I couldn't get them to go away, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I stopped everything and I was still getting them. But it was like I had a whole week long. I had 3 days of my workshop, and then I had, in-person networking, event on the end of the week, and it wasn't until after that where I finally felt like the weight was lifted off my shoulders because I finally got my stuff done. Although it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to or I planned it to, it still turned out well. It really kind of helped me dial in on what I wanna focus on. So I think that was the good part of it. I think the bad part that I got really disappointed in is that I didn't take time for myself. Again, it's like that pattern coming in, and it's just like this weekend, I'm so engrossed in the kids' stuff that I don't even get a chance to spend any time on myself. Like, the one chance that I do, I take them shopping, and then I'm worried about somebody stealing them. And I know that's a crazy thought, but in today's day and age, I mean, look what's happening everywhere. Like, Savannah Guthrie's mother, like an 80 some odd year old woman, was taken from her home. I mean, that's nutso. So, of course, I, should be a little worried if I'm in a store and I can't see my children. So, anyways, I don't want to vent about my weekend, but I just want you to know that you need to take time for yourself. And I'm a big sucker in this where I'm not doing what I preach. I need to do more of it. It's just tough. It's really hard when you have, especially like for us, we have 3 kids, we're outnumbered, we're in tennis and soccer and futsal and diving and school and drums, piano, and guitar, and it's like, holy cannolis. I don't know when we can even breathe. Even though we're not really playing a whole lot of soccer games, we're still engrossed in like all of their activities day after day after day. And it's like, I mean, my husband and I, we celebrated our 16-year wedding anniversary on Friday. And it was like just another day. We barely even got to celebrate. Now, part of that is our fault because we said, we're not going to celebrate Valentine's Day this year. We're going to go big on our anniversary. And then it comes around time for our anniversary. And actually, we just booked a big trip later on in the year. And so we're focusing on that. But it's like we really need to focus on each and every day and being present in it and celebrating ourselves. And I don't do enough of that. And I'm pretty sure you don't do enough of that either. I think we're stressed out of so many things because it's like, just a couple months ago, we owed our property taxes and the kids' school tuition, And it's like that feeling of like, how are we going to afford all of this? How are we going to make ends meet? And I was losing sleep, and yet somehow it all worked out. It always does. But here again, it's like all my clients are taking a pause, and then, everything's coming in at once, and all of these bills and things. And oh my goodness, it's like so much that we have on our mental load. It's hard to even take the time or to find time to celebrate ourselves, let alone our wedding anniversaries. It was really funny. So, because we said we weren't going to do anything for our wedding anniversary, apparently my husband thought that that meant like we don't need to get each other cards, which I'm a big like card lover, because I feel like the cards say all the things within them, and then you add your little personal touches to them. My dad always tells me I always pick out like the best, like most perfect cards for the situation. And so he gets home from taking the kids to school, and I give him his card, and he's like, "What? I thought we weren't gonna celebrate." And I was like, "That doesn't mean you're not gonna get me a card." Here we are, right? We're not taking time to celebrate the little things and celebrate our stuff. And so he's like, "Let me go and I'll be right back." So he goes to the store, comes back. So my envelope is gray, his envelope is blue. So I open it up, and it's kind of very similar size, and I'm thinking, "I really hope we didn't get each other the exact same card." And I thought the card I got was a little bit more manly than what he was going to get. And I open it up and I look at it and I think, "Oh my gosh, did I just open my own card? Oh no, we got each other the exact same cards." Isn't that crazy? Like he hadn't even opened up his card, went to the store, got a card for me, and they're the exact same cards. So I guess that goes to show that after 18 years of being together and 16 years of marriage, I think maybe we know each other just a little bit. I mean, even though we still get mad at the exact same things and wonder why, we pretty much know each other, down to getting each other the exact same card. So here's the things that I want you to hear me out tonight is that we think doing more is the answer, but sometimes the answer is protecting those presence pockets, like me playing Nintendo with the boys. Yes, I didn't get anything done that night, but it meant the world to them and they had so much fun. And to be quite honest, so did I. And I'm missing a lot of that in my life. Another thing is that your bank account is not your identity. And I think I have this issue because growing up, my parents always fought about money, and so I always felt like we didn't have any, and it doesn't matter whether your clients are on break or the income is fluctuating, your value isn't tied to your results or your title. Somehow, it's all gonna work out. It'll be okay. You'll figure it out. Don't stress it. And then trust that sometimes things work out isn't about you working harder. It's about God or the universe aligning things when you finally pause long enough to breathe. So, mama, you're not broken because your weekend was chaotic. You're human. I know you're probably exhausted, like, as am I. I'm so exhausted of driving the boys everywhere. And I told him that. I was like, boys, I literally spent all day yesterday driving you to this, that, and everywhere, all your activities. The least you can do is be in a good mood for me, please. You're navigating a season of transformation. And as my AI friend reminded me, you aren't who you were, but you aren't yet who you're becoming. And it's okay to be in the messy middle. It's okay to have a to do list that didn't get finished. And I have to remind myself this all the time that even though I only checked off one thing off my box and I still have all these things like sending out thank you notes from to the Purdue um I can't even think of the words right now. The professors at Purdue that I met with literally like almost 3 months ago. I still haven't even sent my thank you cards. How terrible am I? But I'll get around to it. It's just stop punishing yourself for not being a robot. You're raising good humans who see you showing up even when it's hard. My daughter, when she got home and she saw me. She's like, "Mommy, what's wrong? Are you okay? You don't seem like you're okay." I was like, "Yeah, I'm just stressing right now, you know." But you're building a life, not just a career. You're so put the list down, take a breath, and remember, you've survived every impossible financial hurdle before this, and you'll survive this season too. I remember when I had literally like $500 in our bank account and we were closing on our house, and I was waiting for my paycheck, and I thought it was like I had started a new job, and I thought I was gonna get a direct deposit, and they mailed it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I needed that for the down payment for the like, for the closing day." And I had $500 in my, like, possession ever that I could access, and I was stressing so bad, but it worked out, like, it worked out, I got paid, we bought the house, everything was good, and we were on our way up from there. Oh, so if you're feeling the weight of the weekend chaos, I wanna hear from you. Send me a DM on Facebook or Instagram, tell me one thing you're not going to do tomorrow so you can find some peace. And if you're ready to stop throwing things together and start building some sort of business with a real strategy, let's talk. Book a call at www.talktonikkiw.com. And don't forget to subscribe and share this one with a mama who's drowning in soccer schedules and to do lists today. So until next time, keep showing up, keep dreaming big, and remember, you're doing better than you think.